Hey YouTube, what's going on? My name is Badfish and this is Gone Gaming. Welcome back to the beautiful city of San Pedro. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the city of San Pedro. It's my current ongoing realistic Cities Skylines series based off the American West Coast. Hope you stick around for a little while. I got a bunch of different builds on my channel, so definitely take a look if you're interested in any detailed City Skyline stuff. But today, guys, we are going to be doing a bit of a fun build, as you saw in that little quick cinematic, that little teaser, a little taste for you in the beginning of what we're building today, and that is going to be a science center / observatory. So originally, I actually wanted to put this over by the main city, but we're making this little harbor town that we started in the last episode, and I wanted to have like a skyline to it, but obviously it's not a big town, so I'm not going to put in big skyscrapers. So I thought up on the little mountain behind it, why not put a little science center, a little observatory, and I think it ends up looking really cool. I think it gives it a nice view from the town. You guys can definitely be the judge of that and let me know what you think, but that's the plan today, guys. So you saw me just kind of wrap the road up and through this little mountain pass, and now we're just adding in some roads up to the observatory itself. So the plan is we're going to have the observatory, we're going to have a little bit of a wind farm for power, as well as those big telescopic dishes that you see over there. Those are going to be put out in an array. So we're going to have an array of satellite dishes, and then a little scientific research center, so maybe where like government research is going on, things like that. So we're gonna have all those little facilities kind of at play in this area, and you know, try to make them look as unique as possible and give them a good spread. So right now we're just putting down the little telescopic array over here, so just spacing them out a little bit so that way they're not obstructing each other when they're trying to send out their signals and things like that, and just having them a little bit away from everything else. And then over here we're gonna start building out a little bit, like I said, of a science center. So I got these cool little labs off the workshop. I think they're like a government lab pack or something. I thought they just looked neat. Little area 51-ish, maybe they were dissecting some aliens down in there in San Pedro, but I thought it looked neat. And then that little tower I just put down, that's actually from Battlefield. I think it's called the Peak Tower. Do I know what it does? No. But does it look neat? Yes. So it stays. It's good. And at this point, we're just going to build out for that science center a little bit of a parking space. So this is going to be put away from the observatory and things. Like I said, I wanted this to be more of like a government research center. So we're going to put some security cameras, some fencing, and like a guard post and things, and kind of make this high security to get in here. Whereas the observatory, my idea is that's more of like a public tourist spot / you know, maybe schools go there on vacation and things like that, or not vacations, field trips. So we're gonna have low parking there. So now what you're going to see me doing is start using my planters just to edge in everything over here. So I'm actually going to take the concrete out so I can see where the edge of that parking lot is, and then just cover that right up and then draw the concrete right into the planters. So the reason I do this, guys, is it actually makes it super easy to edge things in and make it look much more professional. If you've ever used Surface Painter, you know sometimes you're off grid and it results in some kind of like wonky lines and painting. So it doesn't look great. You can kind of see it under the planters I'm putting down as I do it. But if you use these planters, you can edge things in and give them that right angle, straight line that you're looking for, and make it look just a little bit more professional, a little bit more realistic. So that's why I do that, and that's why you're gonna see me use planters all over the place in San Pedro if you watch any of my episodes. It's just a nice little technique I use just to kind of give it a little bit more professionalism to the space and a little bit more, I guess, realism. I suppose realism would be the operative term there. So now we're going to go ahead and just paint in this little area, and like I said, we are going to fence it in and add like some security. But first, a little bit more landscaping, adding those good old San Pedro palm trees. Got to have those palm trees spread out throughout places, make it look nice and pretty. So now we're going to fence it in and work on the security aspects of this little space over here. So like I said, you want it to be high security, especially if it's government research. You want to make sure that it's not just going to be easy for people to break in and steal things. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little security guard shack over here. This is actually supposed to be like a football shack. It's meant for like football as in for American soccer. For everybody else Europe, it's football. But it's a little football garage thing. But I'm using it as a little guard outpost because why not? It looks like a nice little shack that guards could be in. So put our little officers there, and we're going to put in a gate over here. I had to change the road around to one of these smaller roads to get the gate to fit, and then just fence it all in. And like I said, have our guards right there to be able to check people as they come in and make sure IDs are good and things like that. And I am going to add like some barriers and stuff just to make it kind of like a double checkpoint. So you have to go through that fence, go through the barriers, and then you're actually in the facility. And like I said, adding cameras around just to, again, give you that Big Brother is watching feel. Because if this is government research, Big Brother most definitely watching, you bet ya. So put in those barriers now just to have that 2-point checkpoint and make it a little more secure there. And a little fence. So there's 2 gates now, so you gotta go through double the gates, double the trouble, double the fun. And then just adding some like pallets and forklifts, you know, for all that hazardous material they're taking out of there, all that upside down place goop that they're taking out of the Stranger Things place. That's what's coming out and going in these barrels and getting, you know, thrown in the river or the ocean, maybe, who knows. And then I just had these propane tanks down here. Why? I just thought they looked nice. You know, maybe these research facilities need some sort of gas, so maybe it's not propane tank, they're just gas tanks in general. It doesn't need to be propane. But that's why I put these in. And honestly, I just wanted to fill up a little more space over here, and I thought it fit. I think I say this at the end of the episode. It doesn't quite make sense, but it doesn't make not enough sense. So that's why it's there. It's just having fun. Doing the thing, doing the damn thing. So then we're gonna put in just some little more trucks and things like that. And I finally wanted to add some of these towers. So these are the emergency towers that come with the Natural Disasters DLC. I put them in as like cell phone towers. I just kind of use them throughout the space. So throughout San Pedro, you'll see me using those a lot. I like the way they attach to the skyline. I like when they light up, and I just think they look nice. So that's why they're there. Maybe we're transmitting some serious data. And then right here, you're just seeing me go through very quickly. I sped up the time lapse to 11 on this one because all I'm doing is putting down my shrubbery. So the way I've been landscaping a lot is a lot of shrubs. So I have these like wild weeds and wild flowers. So any of the pops of white you see are the wild flowers. And then I have these bigger shrubs, these bigger bushes that I put in kind of the denser areas. And finally, I just go through with these gum trees and gum it all up and put in all of the, landscaping and shrubbery and things just to make it look more realistic. So I like having the undergrowth and then the trees. And I'm really trying to use less trees, guys. This was actually a pretty forested mountain. You know, you can see all those vanilla trees right there. So I decided I could have a little more fun with this area. I do need to clean up by the poles a little bit more, so that's something I'll definitely go through and do. But that was just our little bit of landscaping. Nothing too involved. Just, you know, throwing down some trees, having some fun with it. And then putting down a little fountain and stuff in the middle of there. So I did clean up this pole a little bit because I didn't want trees growing right where the cables were trying to, you know, hold down this massive tower. And then here we're just going to throw in, like I said, a little wind farm. We needed something to power this whole little station over here. So I wanted to just have a little wind farm. I do need more power in the city as a whole. I think I'm going to make a nuclear power plant in a couple episodes to give us a whole bunch of power in the city. Just because the one I made in the second episode ain't cutting it no more. But I thought just for this little science station, a nice green energy wind farm actually looks really nice and works out really well. And then just another little tower there. I'm enjoying my towers today. And finally, what we're going to do over here, like I said, we have the government parking for the government labs and things like that. Now, I want to put just some civilian parking over here. So like I said, if they have like school field trips or families are coming here as tourists for the observatory, this is where they will park, and put a nice little park slash plaza thing over here. So that way they have a nice little congregation area. I know for a lot of the times I went on field trips as a kid, you know, they would have like little places for you to eat lunch. So that's what I wanted to have over here. It was just like a nice little park for people to sit down, have their lunch, and enjoy their day, and you know, enjoy the scenery, because you still are on top of a mountain. There's still some pretty cool views and things like that. So I want people to be able to enjoy that. So we're gonna just put down some benches and decorate this up with some tulips in the middle and like some trash cans, and then finally round it out with, you know, some different lunch tables and umbrellas and things like that. So like I said, this is just a nice little congregation space for people who are coming here on a trip, or you know, are coming here for school, so that way they have a place to sit and enjoy the day than just hang out in the observatory all day or get tested on by government agents. That's the other alternative that they got going on. So I think they'd much rather be sitting in my park. Personally, I'd much rather be sitting in my park. So then we're just gonna go through, slap down some tulips. I didn't really do a design for this. As you can see, I just kind of went hard and put things down and let them hit where they may. And then just doing some final little bits of landscaping. So just going through in some of these nooks and crannies and seeing where I can pop some trees and shrubs in, just to, you know, have it a little more filled out and pleasing to look at, I suppose. And a little more realistic, because I do think some of this wild shrubbery and growth does add a little bit of realism to the space as well. And we're gonna round it out once we get done with this last little bit of landscaping with, of course, putting down our decals. So we need to put down some stains and things. I've said this in a few episodes, but I like to do my decals absolutely last, because if you put props on top of decals, it can be sometimes very hard for the game to register that you're trying to grab the thing on top of the decal rather than the decal itself. I've learned that lesson the hard way, if you can't tell. So just doing the decals last, kind of gunking it up, adding some cracks and things like that, so we don't have a big block of concrete that's just chilling. And then last thing here, I decided to put in a little statue. So in a lot of like research parks and things, you'll have statues to some colonial dude who did something vaguely science related. So that's what we're going for here. Some colonial dude who did something vaguely science related. That's what the plaque says. That's what people come to visit. They're like, ah, yes, let's go visit that guy who did something very scientific. So that's what this guy is. He's Scientific Man from the colonial age, and he's got a nice little statue, so you see it when you drive into this space. But that is just about the end of our little time lapse here, guys. So I am going to let the music play out, but if you did enjoy the video so far, definitely leave a thumbs up down below and consider checking out my other stuff in my channel and subscribing if you like what you see. But I'll let the music play out. Oh, and one last thing while you're finishing this out, don't mind the fire. All right, I'll see you guys on the other side. Alright guys, that's going to do it for that time lapse there. So I hope you enjoyed the build. Let's take a quick look at some of the stuff that we built here before we jump into the cinematics. So of course, we got this nice big beautiful observatory. It's looking great with a little bit of parking right around it. So my idea with the parking lot over here was, you know, if people are coming here just as tourists or on school trips, they're just going to park right over here. That's why there's this little like lunch area slash picnic park thing. So that's the parking over here, whereas this is actually parking for the science centers and like the actual research facilities over here. We'll get back to that. Got this cool tower over here. This is actually from Battlefield, so I don't really know like what its actual purpose is or why there's just a random satellite dish on top of it. I'm not crazy about that, but that's fine, I suppose. We'll just let it go. And then going down through here, we have just a little turnaround. I didn't do a ton of detail on this one. I left it pretty simple. Just put a fountain and some shrubs in it, And then our big satellite dishes for the observatory. So, you know, these are big satellite radar dishes. A little bit of a wind farm. Then we got these big towers. I like having the big towers. They don't add much to like see right when you're close up. Well, this one does. This one not so much. But when you go far out and you have the lights blinking, it looks really good. We'll take a look at it at nighttime real quick. And then, of course, just the little actual scientific research facility. I think this came out nice. It's pretty simple, but I think it all looks really good. I think it all came together really nice to make like a nice little science outpost. And if we scroll, let's put it on to nighttime, right? And let's go over. So I did just put in some little suburbs over here. These are not finished products yet, but if you just look from over here, I just love the view of having like the observatory, the towers, and the, you know, the satellite dishes right there, and of course the wind farm over here. It just adds a, like, it's not a skyline, but it is a skyline, so I just think it looks cool. Like from over here you can see it. I mean, you can see it anywhere in this town. But I think it turned out really good, guys. Let me know what you think down below. You know, if you liked the video or if you liked the build, what you thought of it. I'd love to hear back from you guys. And we're going to jump into some cinematics. And I don't know if I said this earlier in the video yet or not, but I'll be posting today and more than likely tomorrow. And then I'm actually going to be taking a break for about 4 or 5 days. I'm getting married this weekend. So if you don't see videos from me for a little while, that's why. But again, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and let's jump into those cinematics.